Three biggest mistakes that corporate professionals do that land them into mediocre careers. Number one, thinking that their work will speak for itself. Well, it doesn't happen like that. All it does is to push you to a lonely corner, making you invisible, which means that you will not be picked up for promotion, for opportunities, and you will be the last one in the queue for doing the quality of work that you're capable of doing. Number two, not investing time and efforts in building relationships, your networks, your sponsors. These are the people who will speak for you when you're not in the room, when the most important career decisions of your life will be taken. Number three, not taking your brand in control. Let me tell you, your brand is being created, whether you take it in your hands or not. So is it not better that you have complete control on the perception that people are holding about you? Why am I telling you this? Because I'm here to nudge you to leverage the gold mine that we all professionals are sitting on, LinkedIn. And the About section there, it's your perception manager. You can leverage it to get that perception of the people right about you. I've created this short training, less than 10 minutes. You can go through it and implement it to get your About section right, to hit the nail on the target. Hope you enjoy this training.
If the headline is your face on LinkedIn, the About section is your personality. It shows who you are as a person. And those 2600 characters is all you've got to depict that personality. Out of those 2600 characters, only the first 270 characters are those that are visible on a desktop. Remember, you see a button on the side, see more on the right hand side. Unless a person clicks that, they can see only 270 characters. And those first 270 characters need to be interesting enough to make the people curious to click that button, see more, so that they can see the remaining 2600 characters. About section is to create curiosity in you as a professional. This section, use this to manage your perceptions, the perceptions of the people about you, and also to manage your reputation. I love to call it as your perception manager and your reputation manager. This is very important. It's your card to influence your audience in a way that you like. You can focus on the aspects that you want them to concentrate on. There are many people who leave it blank. And if you leave it blank, just know that out of sight, out of mind, you will get very easy to forget. And I'm sure you're not on this platform because you want to be forgotten. Before you write it, again, the same tip. Put yourself in your viewer's shoe. Do not just keep writing from your perspective. I've seen people writing it in a very boring way because they're just thinking about themselves. And think about it. Any time when you read a nice article, you read a nice story, when you read something that interests you, it is because you're able to visualize it. You're able to relate to that. It is not about the writer. It is about the audience and how they are able to relate to it. This was the first lesson I got when I started writing on social media. Do not think from your perspective. Think about what your audience would like to see and what will make them connect to you. Talk to them as if they're literally sitting across the table. Use I and you. They will love it. That's where the connection happens. Don't use a third person's language. And target their problems. Who are the people that you want to come to your profile and connect to you? What is the problem that you are solving for them? This should be absolutely clear. You're there on LinkedIn, not generally to have fun, but to target your audience. Keep that in mind. Have connections that help you grow professionally. So, what you have to do here is to define what success looks like for them. For example, let's say you are a senior business analyst, you should write down how does success look like for the person who would like to engage you. What makes you stand out apart from the other business analysts who are just liaising between IT and business? Define that success. How does it look like for the person who is engaging you, the company who's engaging you? And position yourself as an expert. What is it that you have done? Talk about it. Establish yourself as an authority. This is the point where you create your real brand. This is the place where you get an opportunity to explain or position yourself as an authority. What has your experience of these many years have taught you? What do you think as an expert? What I've seen, a lot of people, they put in the technologies that they have worked on, the number of years of experience, and the projects that they have worked on. Now, this is not, I'm not saying you don't write it, but if that's the only thing that is there, then you're no different from any other Tom, Dick, and Harry on LinkedIn. Put out your story. Do not be scared. I had a client who was also a friend, and I told her to write her story, and she immediately got jitters, and she said, I do not want to put my personal life out there. Now, while you're writing your stories, you need to define the limits. What part of your life do you want to put it out there, and what part you don't? I'm not saying write everything about what you eat, where you go for your exercise, not all those things, but at least your professional journey, put it in the form of a story, where it started. With these many years of experience, where is it that you got swayed from here to there, and where did it finally bring you? What is it that you are passionate about? What has been your learning in the journey? And also then talk about the technologies. If you are a technical person, talk about the technologies, talk about the companies, talk about your passions. Write down everything, but in the form of a story. And obviously you need to add there, what is it that you bring to the table? The person who is eyeing you, they should be able to understand your experience. What is it that you are really great at? And what is the skill set that you have? Along with, as I said, the number of years of experience. It is important. And not only professionally, but what is it other than work that interests you? What are the organizations that you are a part of? Where is it that you love to volunteer your time? What is your passion? Your interest areas? Write it, because you want to project yourself as a person, as an individual, as an expert, and as a complete professional. Personal and professional, when we package it together, that is where people are able to connect with us. So do not focus only on the boring professional details. Put it in the form of a story and reflect your personal side as well. How do we make it stand out? As a starting point, write a story. I would always start with a story, because story makes people curious about you. They want to know more. They want to understand you more. And stories are easy to understand and easy to relate to for anybody. At the same time, remember, as part of your story, I've seen people who become salesmen. They are selling their services. They're talking so highly of themselves that it becomes really too much, overbearing. Do not oversell yourself. Do not boast about yourself. Your audience can see through it. People want to deal with professionals who are humble and confident. Make sure that's what your about section reflects. You need to be really humble, and I'm sure you don't want to come across as somebody who's proud and who is not listening, and somebody who's full of himself or herself. At the end of it, share your contact details. Put in your email ID so that it is easy for the people who want to reach out to get in touch with you. And you can also have a call to action. This is more applicable for the people who are in business. Like, for example, I've got my calendar details there. Anybody who's interested, who goes through the profile and who really wants to reach out to me, they can just book time in my calendar, and then it takes them through a whole process. But If you feel that there's a CTA that you can include, and if it applies to your profession, include a CTA, else just share your email ID. That's it.
Hope you found it useful, and hopefully you will leverage your About section wisely as your perception manager as well as your reputation manager on LinkedIn. Now, if you found it useful, there are two things that you can do. Join me at my upcoming personal branding session where I share strategies and the possibilities that professionals like you and me can create for ourselves on LinkedIn. And number two, join my Facebook group where I keep sharing the tips and tactics to get the most out of LinkedIn. The link is in the details. Do click it, and I would love to see you there.